There's only one problem with this plan, sir. You're not Batman. I'm Batman! He growls, moving fast, his robotic hand shooting smoke around the room. Zoronar moves to stop him, but Bruce takes a swing, using his new hand to hit the robot hard, sending him into a wall. But Zoronar recovers, and he backhands Bruce away, sending him out a window and into the snowy forest. But you're probably wondering how Batman is fighting his own robotic replacement. Batman has seen some things. He was defeated by an evil robot that he created to stop himself. Then he unleashed a mental version of himself that was the perfect Batman, the Zur-En-Arr Protocol. Zur-En-Arr then slowly proceeded to take over Batman, even driving him to fight against the Bat family. Then in a final fight against the Joker, Zur-En-Arr seemingly took over, killing the Joker. After these events, Zur-En-Arr moved his consciousness into the ultimate robot Batman to finally remove the threat of Bruce Wayne. This is Batman 141, and you are at Comicstorian, where we take comic books and turn them into audio dramas so that you know what's going on in the world of comics, and you know what to add to your collection. If you enjoy this type of content, consider supporting us to get early access to our videos by going to Patreon, or find us on Spotify or our sister channel, Comicstorian Full Story. Let's do it. In the past, Zur-En-Arr stands in his secret base, putting the finishing touches on Failsafe's protocol. The robot lifts its head, staring at its creator. I have found an error in the new system. There is a security gap where additional programming can be uploaded, the robot states. Zur-En-Arr smiles, explaining that this is no error. It's a part of the failsafe. If you're not needed for your prime purpose, if Batman doesn't go too far, then there's another reason for you to exist. We now go to the current battle, with Batman struggling out of the hospital bed, staring at Failsafe, Zur-En-Arr's voice coming out of the speaker box. You seem surprised. Isn't this what you would have done? Zur-En-Arr says, his mind now inhabiting the robot body. Zur-En-Arr looks down at his new body, explaining to Bruce that this is so that there can always be a Batman, always be a Dark Knight, to continue the mission. Don't pretend you don't know what I'm talking about, he says, offering Bruce a final choice. I could throw you in a hole, broken and beaten, to live out your days, or you can walk away and live for once, Failsafe says, telling Bruce to finally rest, to finally enjoy life, to marry the woman that he loves. Bruce's heart skips a beat as he thinks of the prospect for a moment, but then he shakes his head. There's only one problem with this plan, sir. You're not Batman. I'm Batman! He growls, moving fast, his robotic hand shooting smoke around the room. Zur-En-Arr moves to stop him, but Bruce takes a swing, using his new hand to hit the robot hard, sending him into a wall. But Zur-En-Arr recovers, and he backhands Bruce away, sending him out a window and into the snowy forest. Moving quickly, Batman heads for a nearby car, driving off into the night. He knows he can't escape Zur-En-Arr, but he refuses to make his defeat easy. As he floors the gas pedal, he looks in the rearview mirror, seeing the robot chasing him, moving at top speeds, running behind a moving car. Meanwhile, back in Gotham City, Nightwing has answered Barbara's call and is shocked to find Lucy Chesson waiting for Oracle. It's been too long, little bird. Come here and give me a hug, the old thief says with a warm smile, embracing the hero. Barbara is confused until Dick explains that he studied under the Gray Shadow when Bruce sent him abroad as Robin. Lucy tells Dick what happened in the mansion, about how Batman became more dark and he attacked the Joker before the mansion burned down. She didn't see either of them afterwards, and she made her way to the Oracle's tower. After relaying these details, Lucy waves goodbye, heading for the exit. I'm not one for heroics, Richard. You know that. I simply train the ones who are, it seems, she says in explanation before leaving. Alone, Dick Grayson turns to Barbara Gordon. What are we going to do? He asks her quietly. But Barbara shakes her head, looking at him. I honestly don't know, Dick. But back in the forest, Batman steers the car through the snowy night. Zur-En-Arr leaps into the air, smashing through the back window. He reaches out for Batman, but the Dark Knight tosses 3 pellets, leaping out the window. Those pellets explode, filling the car with a rapidly expanding foam that will hold the robot. At least he hopes. Firing his grappling hook, Batman swings to safety as the car careens off a cliff, exploding in on itself. He knows this won't slow the robot down long enough to help him, and he begins to run through the woods. He has to think like Zur-En-Arrh, predict what the robot will predict him to do. He has to think like Batman, thinking like Batman. Zur-En-Arrh assumes Bruce is going to head back to Gotham. He'll assume that Bruce is going to gather the Bat family to try and stop Zur-En-Arrh. But Bruce turns back to the cabin in the woods, to Zur-En-Arrh's secret hideout. He enters it, finding various pieces of equipment, things that he can use to fight against the robot, things that he may have created in another lifetime. At the crash site, Failsafe steps out of the destruction, flames licking his body and makeshift cape, but he doesn't care, because he's invincible. He leaps onto the cliff and he turns, looking at the lights of Gotham in the distance. He knows how Bruce thinks. He knows that he's going to try and plan for Zur-En-Arrh. So Zur-En-Arrh turns back to his secret cabin, accurately predicting what Bruce predicted he would predict. Zur-En-Arrh charges through the woods, reaching the secret base, kicking in the door. Bruce, your flesh is weak. Of course you would come back here. You need your toys more than ever now. Zur-En-Arrh whispers, but in the distance, Batman smiles. He presses the detonator. The cabin explodes around the robot, bathing him in flames. As Zur-En-Arrh walks out, there's not so much as a scratch on him. Remember, he's an invincible fighting robot. I won't let you stand in my way, Bruce. I don't want to hurt you, but I will. Zur-En-Arrh says as he scans for the dark night. But Batman leaps out of the trees overhead. Fine, give it your best shot. He growls at the robot, now armed with a combat exoskeleton and energy blades. He slashes against Failsafe, but the blades aren't enough, and Zur-En-Arrh kicks him away. Batman doesn't slow. He rolls out of the attack, tossing grenades that explode against Zur-En-Arrh's chest. He then charges at him, slashing against the robot again, trying to sever its limbs. But Zur-En-Arrh attacks with an electrified net that knocks Bruce Wayne to the ground. Gasping, Batman tries to get to his feet, but Zur-En-Arrh stalks forward, slamming him back into the ground. He grabs a hold of Bruce. He lifts him into the air. I'm forever. You're just meat, Zur-En-Arrh says, ripping Batman's mask off to reveal Bruce's bruised and battered face. Your dream is coming true, Bruce. You stopped crime through eternity with my creation, Zur-En-Arrh tells him. But Bruce continues to struggle, shaking his head. No, you're just a criminal, and I stop. Bruce gasps, but Zur-En-Arrh's fist flies out, and the world goes dark. Bruce awakens with a gasp. He sits up and sees that he's laying in a cot in a cell. He reaches up to his face, rubbing the beard growing there, and he realizes that he has been out for a couple of weeks. He stands looking around at his surroundings, trying to figure out where he is, but his thoughts are interrupted by a voice in the next cell. Oh, good morning, sunshine. So nice of you to finally join us. Bruce turns to see the clown is in a back brace. His neck is bound, and he's still healing from his fight with Zur-En-Arrh. Bruce stalks forward, telling the clown that he is through with his nonsense. You know about Zur-En-Arrh. You knew about my mentors. It's time you told me exactly how you are involved in all of this. Bruce growls at him. Joker smiles wickedly and nods slightly. You know what, Bruce? I think I'll do just that, he says with a grin. The story is going to be continued into Joker Year 1, and if you want to see how that ends, please join us here at Comicstorian. Don't forget, if you want more videos, join us at Patreon, or you can find me on Twitter at Comicstorian and give me your opinion. Either way, this story is to be continued.